Hey, Painful Mess here. I'm not sure what's going on with my sound. It looks like I'm blowing out the speakers again, sort of like last time, and I changed operating systems just to see if that would help, but I guess it's not. So, welcome back to An Atheist Reads the Book of Mormon. The first book is First Nephi. It is about a medium-length book in the Book of Mormon. It's certainly not the longest, but the shortest is only like a page or something, so it's about medium. It's been pretty easy, straightforward reading so far. Later on, we'll have lots of generations passing in short amount of time, so there'll be lots of names to remember, and it'll get a little bit more rough to just describe what's going on. This first book is quite plot-driven, if I may use that term. So it never really goes off on long theological tangents, and there is pretty constant action, which makes it easy to keep reading. Alright, so on to the content. Pay close attention because the entire rest of the Book of Mormon all stems from these first pages. It builds a lot. So this is sort of unlike the Bible, which jumps around, and you don't really need the earlier stuff to read some of the later stuff. This first book, First Nephi, is told in first person, and it's from Nephi's point of view. So there's this man who's named Lehi. He has 4 sons. They're named Laman, Lemuel, Sam, and Nephi. So if you only remember one thing, remember that Nephi and Laman are brothers, because this will be very important in the next book. Lehi, the father, he has a vision at the beginning. He sees a pillar of fire, and he prophesies the coming Messiah. Oh, and one fascinating aspect of the Book of Mormon, if you haven't read it, is that at the bottom of every single page down here, there is an approximation for what year the content of that page happened. So you can keep pretty close track of what year it is. So this is about 600 BC. Lehi is persecuted for his prophecy, and he takes his family into the wilderness. You soon learn that Nephi is the obedient son, and he is actually chosen to rule over his brothers and rule over the coming, well, you'll see. The sons go back to Jerusalem to get the plates of brass. There's some infighting between the brothers, and then this man Laban steals the plates. So an angel appears and yells at Laman and Lemuel for beating Nephi, and says to go back to Jerusalem, and they will have no trouble with Laban. So they go back, and they find Laban passed out drunk, and Nephi kills him. He kills him on order from an angel, and then they have the plates, which is what they went there to get. Then this person Zoram joins the Lehi family. There's some more prophesying that happens. Nephi starts to write the record. They return to Jerusalem, and they start to convert people. Ishmael comes, Sariah, I can't remember everyone, but some more people join them. And then Laman starts to rebel. So Lehi, the father, then has another vision. He was the one that had the vision in the beginning, but this time it's of the tree of life. Sariah, Sam, and Nephi partake of the fruit, but Laman and Lemuel do not. So this obviously predicts that Laman and Lemuel will be against Lehi in the future, or against they'll be against Nephi at least. As I pointed out in the first video, you now learn that Nephi keeps 2 sets of plates. The large plates are the historical record, and the small plates are more theological. As a reminder, right now we are on the small plates of Nephi. Lehi then prophesies some more, including the death and resurrection of the Messiah, Now Nephi, the son, has a vision of the tree of life. He prophesies the Messiah and the 12 apostles. But then he sees the promised land and the downfall of its inhabitants. So for those who don't know, the promised land is America. He then sees the restoration of the gospel by Joseph Smith. Joseph Smith's name is not mentioned, obviously. And the setting up of Zion in Utah. And Utah is obviously not mentioned, but these are what it's come to mean. So then Nephi also prophesies about John writing the Book of Revelation. Lehi's sons marry the daughters of Ishmael. They find this strange spherical compass-like thing. It's called the Liahona. I looked up the pronunciation, now I forgot. It guides them through the wilderness. God gives them written messages on it periodically. Ishmael eventually dies. Laman plots to kill his father and his brother Nephi. Then the most important part of First Nephi is probably that Nephi is commanded to build a ship. And everyone thinks this is a crazy idea, and they oppose him. He doesn't even know how to build a ship, but he follows the commands. He's doing everything differently than the standard constructions of a ship, but it ends up working. Then, some people are born. Then everyone departs for America on this ship that Nephi built. Some people rebel on this trip, and they tie Nephi up. The sea becomes really crazy, and it almost kills everyone. But then they untie Nephi, and the storm goes away. And then they arrive at the promised land. So for the rest, I don't know if I'll call it America or I'll call it Bountiful, but in the Book of Mormon, this promised land is called Bountiful. Then Nephi starts to make records of the people on plates of ore, and he prophesies a bunch more until the very end of First Nephi. So that's what's happened. Hopefully that was somewhat enjoyable, and now you know a little bit about what happens in the first book of the Book of Mormon, First Nephi. So